Okay, see how this goes from a standstill? Hey everyone, it's Ben Hard here, and in today's going to be looking at the all-new Range Rover Sport. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Land Rover here in Lehi, Utah for giving me some time with this Range Rover Sport. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And something that I love about the Land Rover here in Lehi is they do not charge any markups over MSRP whatsoever. And so if you want a great deal on the new Land Rover or Jaguar product, then the Land Rover of Lehi is the place to go. If you have any questions whatsoever, just ask for Jordan. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a 3-liter inline 6. It's both turbocharged and supercharged. It goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. It is good for 18 around town and then 26 on the highway. From a fuel economy standpoint, power outputs are 395 horsepower and then 406 pound-feet of torque. Before we go over the front end, I do want to mention that if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend that you subscribe because I post content every single day on a large variety of different cars. Now, actually getting into the front end, you guys can see we've got these accent pieces on either side, which are minimalist to go with the rest of the design. Like everything has been like minimalized here with the new Sport. You got the Range Rover logo here, and then here's a quick look at the daytime ring lights. By the way, they don't blink in person. That's just because of the frame rate of the camera. And then you guys can see with the LED lights. And then everything's just flush here with the bodywork. This is the new Range Rover styling. Got a camera there in the center. We do have parking sensors here on the front end. And you know, overall, like the textures and everything here on the front end, I think they look pretty cool. I like that piece at the very bottom, right there, just under the like black grille piece. But yeah, that is the front end of the new Sport. Coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 285, 45, 22 in the front and over in the rear as well. And you guys can see here with the wheels, it's got this cool kind of like satin metallic gray for the coloration, which just contrasts the paint perfectly on this particular Sport. I'm actually a huge fan. I love how the brake caliper has been painted black instead of just being the normal silver on most vehicles. Now this does come with standard air suspension. You guys can probably kind of see the canister a little bit. And then notice we don't have any fender flares or anything like that. And look at the molding here, again, kind of like softer with the lines. And then another accent piece that, again, there's not like a lot happening with it. We've got the blacked out mirror, and then also look at the pillars, how those are blacked out, but then the roof is body painted. We do have the pop out door handles. It's kind of like a Range Rover thing now. And here's your full side view. This thing's pretty dang big. They actually happen to have an old body style Sport SVR that's brand new, by the way, that is for sale, MSRP. And so I walked up to that before I walked up to this, and like, you can actually see the size difference. So here's our key fob. It's the normal Land Rover key fob. We have our unlock function, the lock function. That's to turn on the lights, so it helps you out at night. And then we have the opening here for the hatch. Instantaneous with the response. We've got a built-in cargo cover here from the factory, and then, well, that was easy. Anyways, we got rubber floor mats with this as well. I love how it comes with like a Land Rover bag to carry all of your stuff. Now, this has a couple cool features back here. So this is to lower down the seats. So like I can press this and it'll lower it down, but I can also stop it if I want, which is pretty cool. Anyways, you got this for the air suspension, so this will raise and lower the air suspension, so it'll basically make it so it's easier to load things up into the rear, and there you go. Also, by the way, those controls automatically raise the seats as well. Forgot to mention that, but press that button right there, and that'll lower down the hatch, and this is where some more fun begins. So, first off, look at the taillights. Kind of still have that cool three-dimensional look that Range Rover has kind of been known for. And then you've got, again, another Range Rover logo here on the back, and kind of hard to see because the letters are dark and then the trim they're on is also dark. Sport badge down below, and then we got more parking sensors here at the bottom. And then look at the covers here for the exhaust. It's pretty crazy looking. I love how it's white here at the bottom. The bezel that covers the receiver hitch, which is pretty cool. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about the exterior styling here on the new Sport. I think that it's actually pretty cool. Now let's go over the door panel here in the rear. First off, we've got really nice leather trim here at the top, and then we have this like interesting cloth trim, and it looks like it covers up one of the speakers here for the sound system. And then look at the, like, it looks like wood trim down below. That is really nice. And look at this, we have our like recline function here built onto the door panel, which is fun. More leather trim down below, and then I love the finish on the window control right there. But yeah, really nice looking door panel. And then here are these seats. So again, full leather here. Notice perforated. You can see down below. And let's actually pop in. Ooh, here's legroom, headroom. And then you guys can see you've got like a little storage pocket here. So I just quickly turned on the Range Rover so I can show you guys what this actually looks like. Well, it is on for the vents and then the heated seats. So pretty simple setup here on the back. And then you got some vents right there. And of course, we have the most important thing any car could ever have, the center console cup holder armrest. You cannot ask for more in a brand new car. But I want to mention these seats are so incredibly comfortable, like some of the most comfortable seats in the automotive world. And also I just noticed these grab handles are, look how nice, like it's leather trim. These are the nicest grab handles I think I've ever seen in my life. Let's head to the front. So here's our front door panel. You can see again, really nice leather trim here at the top. Blind spot monitoring here for the mirrors. And then you got that same cloth trim down below. And then you can see with the wood trim here and then the leather trim. And we do have memory seats. Notice that the function's built into the adjustments for the seats. We've got all of our window controls here. We've got all of our adjustments for the mirrors. They do power fold in. And then here are the front seats. And again, you can see really nice perforated leather. And then just look at the padding down below. It's super sumptuous, I guess we'll use that word in today's video. And then look at the pedal layout, pretty nice with that setup. That's to open up the hatch. And then just really nice material used all throughout. Got more leather trim here and also on the dash. And well, let's pop in. Here's our steering wheel for the Range Rover Sport. Really nice leather trim all around. I love the different cuts they make on the steering wheel. Definitely unique from a stylistic perspective. Even the airbag cover has really nice leather trim as well. We've got these paddle shifters here on the back. Again, super nice with the material use. And then notice we've got some controls here for like the center stack, voice command controls. And then we do have our cruise control here on the other side. Looks like we do have a lane keep assist and then it's an adaptive cruise control system. What more could you ask for? Turn signal, light stock, windshield wiper stock. And there's the steering wheel. So here is the center gauge cluster, full digital gauge cluster. Love how we have the map view on the one side. And then you guys can see here with the speedo. And then of course, we can use this to scroll through some different menus. So most of it's just setting stuff up with the vehicle, but it's a cool little thing to have. And well, that's the center. Now here's the infotainment screen. First off, if we pop it in reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. And I love how we can go to like the off-road viewpoint. This does have a center locker and it also shows you what the suspension's doing, which is pretty fun. And you guys probably noticed that I have to like click in, but overall really good camera system. And just like other Range Rover models, so I'm gonna go forward a little bit. And you guys can probably tell with this camera view, you can see like underneath the Sport as well. I think it's a cool feature with Range Rovers. Obviously, that's super practical for off-roading, but also, I mean, you know, you could use it for on-road use as well. Anyways, as for the rest of the infotainment system, this part you can actually slide. It's really easy to use, and this is super similar to other infotainment systems that you've seen within my other Range Rover reviews. I love how it shows us the elevation that we're at, for example, which is pretty cool. You got the weight sensing. There's a lot of cool features within this. The only thing that I'm going to knock this for is I'm not necessarily a huge fan of having to like really click in to use different features within an infotainment system. I like when it's just a touchscreen, but I can also kind of understand why they do this, because some people might hate the fact that they'll slide and they'll accidentally click into a menu, whereas here, like you have to really click in to get into the menu, and so you're not accidentally going to go into something that you don't want to go into. Now, something else to mention here is just the dash. You guys can see really nice with the material use. I love how the vents are integrated and all that. And I guess we'll just quickly show the whole glove box setup. So this does have Range Rover's cool double glove box situation, and trim down here, like again, fit and finish is fantastic, but also just like how they've put everything together is really fun. So down below, we've got a bunch of fun controls right here. So you've got basically different shortcut buttons to let you just access things quickly. So like AC, for example, and then also the seats, which you can see pop up here. And even though it says seat heat, that doesn't necessarily mean that the car doesn't have air conditioned seats. It's just a Range Rover thing. But you guys can see with the adjustments. But I will mention that this particular one does just have heated seats, no air conditioned seats, and it's pretty cool. You can just press in for the seat, and then I can pull up for the fan speed, and then press in again, and then go back to the main menu, and then this adjusts the temperature. It's just, I don't know, I think it's fun. Anyways, here's the shifter, really nice leather trim there at the top. Pretty easy to use, so just there's a button on the front you click and then you push it forward for reverse, for example. And then we've got our engine stop start here, volume control, and then hill descent control right next to it. And then if you look really closely, you can see what the other buttons would actually be for. I don't know if it'll show it on camera. It says EV, and then there's like a little low range button there as well. But anyways, popping up the drive mode select, it'll actually pop up here in the center gauge cluster. So you guys can see we've got the comfort program right now. We also have an eco, dynamic, I love the little pictures with it, grass, gravel, snow, mud, ruts, sand, and then a wade mode. And these modes will adjust, you know, how the engine and transmission responds, as well as the air suspension. It'll raise and lower it with the different modes. Now we've got some center console action here. So first off, if we roll that back, this is where some cup holders live their days. And notice there's another pull tab because it's also a storage cubby underneath, and it's actually like really large. Camera doesn't want to focus because it's dark down there, but it's interesting that we have like 2 different layers of protection. I guess that's like your secret storage cubby. And then here is the other part of the center console. So there's lots of storage space up front. I love the leather trim here. And then of course we have the normal Range Rover armrest. It's kind of like a Range Rover thing. You got to have armrests in them. And we already went over the glove boxes earlier. You guys can see we've got the camera mirror. You guys know I'm a huge fan of this. It's a nice bit of safety tech. And then this does have a full panoramic sunroof here at the top. Controls are just right there. So here's our window sticker for this Range Rover Sport. First off, you guys can see all the standard equipment and then also the warranty information, 4-year, 50,000 mile new vehicle warranty. Now base MSRP, $90,000. And like I said, this is the demo pack. So if you actually want to come down and drive the new Sport before you order it, then, well, Lehigh can help you out with that. So you guys can see the kind of weird optioning this has as a demo pack. Total MSRP, $97,840. And I do believe that after this is done being a demo, then it can be sold to someone. Double check with the Land Rover in Lehigh. But anyways, let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood, and hopefully you guys can now see the heads-up display. Both of the mirrors, which do have blind spot monitoring, and then throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So, setting off in the new Range Rover Sport, and it's always exciting to drive a new Range Rover because it's always interesting to see what Range Rover actually changes in a vehicle, because from a stylistic perspective, they usually don't look all that different compared to what they're replacing. I mean, you guys can see the new full size there. It looks different compared to the previous full size, but not a huge amount. And same thing with the Sport. It looks different, but it's not like, you know, a complete night and day change like what BMW did with the X7, where they made it ugly. They gave it the ugly. So we can at least say that Range Rover did not give the new Sport the ugly. Now, first off, gotta love this turbocharged inline 6. So this is a really popular engine now within Range Rover's lineup because first off, it's got solid power, but on top of that, it's also pretty economical, and it's been shown to be really reliable, actually. And so it's definitely a powertrain that a lot of people are going for, just because, well, I mean, that, right? Power, fuel economy, reliability. I mean, what more could you ask for at that point? This is really smooth from a ride quality standpoint. This is something that is amazing to me with modern luxury cars, because they all have like gigantic wheels. You know, this is 22s. And so you think it's gonna ride like crap because you don't have a lot of sidewall and you've got a lot of wheel. And so usually that harshness, right, will transfer over into the ride. But that's not the case. This is like full-on luxury. It's so amazing how comfortable this is, and seat comfort's amazing. This is something that I really want to like hit home. These are probably the most comfortable seats you can get for, and this one's under $100,000, definitely under $100,000, and potentially for under $200,000 as well. Like, these are really comfortable seats. Range Rover, you can tell Range Rover spent a lot of time with just making it so that everything about these seats just like, I don't know, it feels like it kind of like molds to me a little bit. Well, apparently I forgot how to talk. What I was trying to say is I feel like I could just go on a super long road trip with this and get out of it and just be just as comfortable as when I started. And this doesn't even have massaging seats. Like, you know, obviously you can get cool functions like that in higher packages within the Range Rover's lineup, but like, I think it's impressive. So we're gonna go back to the drive mode select, dynamic. So this one thing's cool about the Sport because, well, it's got Sport in the name. We have a dynamic program. That actually sounds pretty cool, to be honest. Now, I don't know if the audio is pumped in or not. Probably is, let's be honest here. But, I mean, it sounds good. We're gonna pop into the S mode. Gear shifts are really quick, actually. Okay, see how this goes from a standstill? Wow. This thing's actually pretty fun to drive, to be honest. Handling's great. And again, this isn't like the, you know, SVR or anything like that. This is pretty much, it's not a base model, but you know, it's definitely not, you know, top of the line, and it's still a really fun vehicle to drive. You do feel the weight though, like there's no hiding the fact that this is still a, you know, pretty big heavy SUV. And so also want to mention this area here on the side that's normally plastic in a lot of cars, they actually like kind of padded it. So like even stuff that you're never going to touch, there's actually storage space underneath the center console too. I didn't notice that before. So we got more storage space, tons of storage space. But yeah, an area that you are, you know, pretty much never going to touch still feels nice. Now I'm actually going to take it out of the dynamic. I will say the ride quality is not nearly as good in the dynamic program as what you have in like the Comfort or the Auto. Comfort or Auto is definitely, well, a lot more comfortable, hence the name. So yeah, did they do a good job with this? I think so. I think this is like seriously job well done. I'm still not like 100% sold on the new styling compared to the old one, so I'm actually going to drive over here so you guys can see. Like, I don't know, there's just like this aggression and boxiness that the old one has that this one doesn't quite have. But again, that's an SVR, so I feel like it's not a fair comparison. Let me know what you guys think about the new Range Rover Sport. Definitely more on the luxury, like you can tell, more on the luxury side, which, I mean, makes sense. Like, this is a much better daily driver compared to, well, the old one. And there's like so much less road noise. The ride quality is so much better. Like, everything from a luxury standpoint is so much better on this. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this new Range Rover Sport. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Land Rover here in Lehi, Utah for giving me some time with this Range Rover Sport. Check out the inventory in the description down below. Ask for Jordan if you have any questions. I'll see ya.